You are live on 98.9 Northwest FM. This is the Tuesday Review. I am Nathan, as always, joined by James. How you going, James? What's made you happy in the last week or so?
Well, we were messaging about it in the group chat, so me and Callum kind of have the same thing. But if Callum wants to take that, I can do something.
Oh no! I think it's worth discussing actually.
Oh no, 100%. Yeah. But if because I know sometimes Callum's like, I don't know.
No, we'll do a quick one and then we'll discuss the.
All right, so
okay.
James pick something else.
All right,
have you got anything else?
I got this cool T-shirt.
I noticed.
Yeah, nice.
The,
Hellfish, the Grandpa Simpson.
I've been looking at Simpsons merch. Something got recommended to me on Instagram, and it was like it's a car like sticker for your car window. Then it was like, "Don't honk at me. I'm listening to Kirk Van Houten's 1994 classic. Can I borrow a feeling?" And it looked really cool. And then I'm like, "How much does it cost?" And it was like $20 for a sticker plus like $15 for shipping.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
it's not worth it. You could probably,
yeah. I mean, I can make one up myself.
Yeah. I like some people like have to have like a Japanese, like a JDM car that have like Mr. Sparkle.
Yeah,
I love that. That's the sticker. Yeah. So this cool T-shirt.
All right, Callum, tell us what's made you happy in the last week.
the weather cool enough. I think we're finally in the...
Bit too cold for me.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's different. There are some people who we know who only enjoy themselves in 35 plus.
Well, yeah,
some
that's
people
a bit
prefer
much.
25 to 20. Me, I'm a nice 10-degree guy. I love my cold weather. I sleep better in the cold weather. I live better in the cold weather. Apart from the aches I get in my knee. But that's bearable. But yeah, I'm just happy it's cool enough. We were sitting outside eating ice cream before the show.
Now that's cold.
It was a bit too cold for ice cream, but it was
it's
nice.
never too cold, right?
No, and I thought, man, we struggled the summer to get here. I'm just happy to be, with this temperature right now.
I like the last few weeks. It was just like 20, 20, 20, 20. If it was always like that, I would be happy. But yeah, we don't get much of that. Usually it's like 40 or 10.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything specific that made me happy. I guess playing pool with the boys over the weekend made me happy before the movie. That was a good time. But specifically, what's collectively made us all happy is that Cannes is on.
Well, more specifically, one of the movies.
One of our favourite directors,
The return of Nicholas Winding Refn.
Yeah, Nicholas Winding Refn. This is his first full feature film since 2016's Neon Demon, which was 10 years ago.
And he said some weird things about this movie too, in like the whole Cannes kind of thing. It was like, I died and this movie brought me back to life kind of thing. Like he's reinvigorated his...
He was like, I died and they brought me back to life with electricity, is what he said.
Yeah.
People are like, that's so cringe.
He's always such a edgelord. It's great. No, but yeah, he did Neon Demon 10 years ago, which was awesome. And then since then he did like some short films and music videos, but he did the Too Old to Die Young TV show on Amazon, which was amazing, and then got cancelled after one season because it was too weird and too good. And then he did a show on Netflix, Copenhagen Cowboy, which is kind of cool. But I'm excited for his next movie, which is called Her Private Hell.
And like all good Nicholas Winding Refn movies, it is divisive.
Yeah.
But this is also something I wanted to bring up on the show. So I'm going to start off by saying, dear listeners, send us to Cannes. We'd get more out of it than I feel like some of these.
100%.
I feel like some of these people that go to Cannes, do you even like movies?
Yeah.
Why are you there?
The reactions, like the French, just reactions in general, are always strange. But yeah, Cannes is a specific audience of like either a garbage movie gets a 15-minute standing ovation, or a god tier movie gets like booed and people walk out and death threats are yelled. Not always. It's just they have extreme emotions over there, I guess.
But it's just weird. I feel like,
but it's also like
every
Nicholas
year,
Winding Refn, his movies always get a divisive kind of reaction. But yeah, it's like, I don't know what these people expect when they go in.
Like, I'm at a Nicholas Winding Refn movie. You're not expecting a 10-minute sequence of a dude standing there smoking a cigarette?
Yeah, bathed in neon light to a synth soundtrack.
Yeah, what are they assuming they're getting?
I don't know.
But anyway, just
generally... you don't have to like it, but yeah, it's a specific Cannes thing, but then also on top of that, it's Nicholas Winding Refn's like...
Especially things that confuse me about this and like I assume Megalopolis last year is that there were queues to see this new movie for hours. Yeah?
Yeah.
People couldn't get in. And the kind of people that did get in, and people were talking about this on, the social media platform we don't talk about,
Yeah.
where they were saying, like, I waited for 3 hours to see this movie. I'm a big Nicholas Winding Refn fan, and I couldn't get in. And half the people that did see the movie hate on him just because they don't like him.
And
Then
they
why did you
walked
go to
out.
see the movie?
Yeah.
Let a
Walk
fan
out,
go and
yeah.
see it.
You're
If you're
lying-
not a fan, don't go there just to heckle the man.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point?
I mean, it's just like a lot
Don't
of
be
people.
don't be a toxic part of the community.
Whether you're actually like a legitimate critic or just a fan, like people go nuts and they try to see everything and anything, which that would be perfect for someone like me who,
Yeah, but
even if I didn't like it,
but
I would
we-
be like,
But we don't go in with a preconceived notion, and we generally
Yeah.
try and appreciate a film for what it's trying to do. I feel like there's just too many. There's a lot of haters,
especially
and there's a
yeah,
lot of just negative people.
yeah. I mean that's true too. Yeah.
But anyway,
But anyway, the movie itself has got us all really excited and has collectively.
I've saved some reactions on my phone for,
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
the
read
audience
some of them out.
listening. Her private hell turns out to be our collective misery as Refn delivers a flaccid piece of coffee table fetishism drenched in neon slop aesthetic. Too dull to be future camp classic, too painful to be anything but endurance testing. Kinda shocked it wasn't booed off screen. Refn should be put in film jail and never allowed to direct films again after what he's done with Her Private Hell.
Oh man, it's gonna
I mean,
be awesome.
That just G's us up.
Yeah, I'm like.
But it's one of those things where I'm like, man, if you don't like his kind of movie, then why take a precious ticket? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I
give
don't
it to
know.
us
Do you-
instead.
Do you even
Yeah.
like movies? That's what I feel like saying to some of these.
I mean,
like
look,
the fart sniffing neckbeards.
It is, to be fair. I know he's divisive, and I know a lot of people don't like his style. But yeah, so in this case, it's kind of like I get it. But yeah, a lot of these quote unquote critics or whatever is just like. But also we complain about critics who are too positive, who go into every piece of garbage and say it's a masterpiece.
I
yeah,
just feel like it happens at Cannes specifically every year, though. You get the fart sniffers who are like,
Yeah.
I am an international, very self-important film critic,
Yeah.
and this movie isn't 10 out of 10. Trash. Not interested. I'm
Yeah,
like,
I think and it's also
Headlines, I guess.
yeah,
yeah, exactly. That's another problem.
We're giving
is-
them attention, and therefore,
Yeah,
they're
that's the other
benefiting.
problem is like when you're a quote unquote journalist, it's like you're not only trying to do the journalism, now it's you have to sell. It's all about
Yeah.
clicks and ad revenue and
subscribers and such.
algorithms and yeah.
Needless to say, we look very
But
much.
yeah.
We look forward very much to seeing her
That was
private
all.
hell.
Yeah, that was all our collective. What made us happy that week? Because I've talked about before. Like I'm a huge fan of his, and I'll be there day one for anything he does, even if it's garbage. So, and if it is garbage, I'll say so. But I'll be there day one, and I'll gladly see it.
Yeah, I think he's one of those directors who, if you're down with his vibe, you will get something out of most of what he could make.
I mean, I haven't really been disappointed with anything he's done.
Like from what I've read, I've been made to believe this movie is like a light on plot, heavy on vibes. I'm still
I'm
down
fine
with
with
that.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
so it's
especially considering some of the non-shit post Letterboxd reviews I've been reading. There's a lot of trash in there, people just dunking on it just because. But some of them are like, it's like Blade Runner meets the Terminator or vibes based. I'm like, that sounds
Yeah.
amazing.
That's cool.
That's cool.
I think you also posted someone where it's just like, and I can't remember the exact quote, but it was just like, they said that, I love that Nicholas Winding Refn just like doesn't give a shit. He does what he wants to do. There's no...
And there's massive walkouts from the new Nicholas Winding Refn movie at Cannes. We've never been more back.
yeah. Like stuff like that where it's like, he just does it, and if people like it, sure. It's like, he doesn't
that's
care.
right.
I think that's why his stuff
He's a
works.
visionary.
Why some... because there are other filmmakers who have like similar styles, like synthy kind of neon 80s vibes, and that just doesn't work. Well, that's a whole nother discussion, which maybe we'll leave for another time. But there are other directors like that who their stuff doesn't really land, and I don't
Yeah.
know. Nicholas Winding Refn stuff just lands more for
Well,
me. I guess because maybe he just doesn't care. I don't know.
It's not that he doesn't care. I think it's more like he's
He's good at what he
auth-
does.
But it's him
Authentic.
authentically.
He's
Yeah.
uncompromising, yeah.
Yeah, it's him authentically.
Yeah.
It's not through it's not like, do it more mainstream, Nicholas.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
just like, no, but I need my 5-minute shot of a car passing.
Yeah.
Like, in one unbroken shot.
Yeah.
It's like, thank you, Nicholas. I appreciate that. Like, there was a lot of that in the Prime show. Was it Prime or Netflix?
Yeah, Too Old to Die Young. Yeah, we talked about it.
It's like, you can't tell him you didn't do it.
Yeah.
So there's authenticity is a big factor.
Yeah.
We'll move along to our feature review, I suppose.
Yes.
We also had the delight in watching Curry Barker?
Barker.
What a name. Curry Barker's second film, Obsession. A fairly packed cinema as well, which I appreciated.
Yeah,
And it plays well in a sold out cinema.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, first thing I want to say in this review is this is a really good movie, and you should see it at the cinema with an audience. It's a great movie, but I think a part of that is seeing people's reactions. Even like normies who just thought they were just going to go see the latest
this is not
Conjuring kind of type of jump scare movie. Just the way people were squirming and laughing and screaming.
In a way, it's more confronting. Definitely in a subtext kind of way.
Yeah. So it's definitely worth...
So it made people very uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's worth seeing it at a cinema for that experience. And also it just looked and sounded really nice.
Also, shout out to the aspect ratio of this movie. I appreciated it. It wasn't widescreen, which helped in our local cinema because there's a tear in the...
So you couldn't see the...
Why are you laughing?
No, it's funny though.
There's a tear in the screen.
Yeah.
And the aspect ratio...
Cut it off.
Yeah, because the black part of the screen.
I didn't see the tear, and I was very happy.
You know what? When we buy tickets and it says Cinema 6, we should just be like, nah, let's do another different one.
I emailed them last time, and I got a response, and they were just like, yeah, we know. We're trying to fix it. I'm like, mate, it's been months.
We've talked about this before. I don't care.
Before we dive into this one though, shout out to Curry Barker for making a good film on a tiny budget.
Yeah.
Less than $1 million American. I
think 700 grand.
Yeah,
I heard,
and it's like
somewhere.
They moved heaven and earth with that money.
Yeah, it looks,
and
looks
like
good.
you look at the returns, how much has it made? Millions at least.
Yeah, it's doing well.
Well, he's the next indie horror darling. Probably.
Yeah.
So we always talk on the show about like the lower budget films.
Yeah.
This goes to show you can make a convincing film with a smaller budget.
Yeah, well, we talk about it all the time. I mean, horror specifically is that kind of genre where they're quick and cheap to make, and they usually make their money back, if not, heaps more. So that is a genre that
lends itself well to
and is lucky in that way. Yeah, but I mean, I think often when we discuss it, it's like, it should be just movies in general. You don't need always a bajillion dollars. Or if you do have that kind of budget, kind of use it well and don't just spend
it also
it on
allows
CG.
filmmakers to actually make movies more than once every 5 years or whatever.
I mean, also,
Curry Barker's already filmed his next one. It's like, what I mean? It's like, if you're doing it with a lower budget, it's easier to sell yourself to studios.
The only problem is going to be budget creep for Curry. As he continues his success, the studio's going to be like, here's more money, Curry.
We'll get to that because he's been attached to the new Texas Chainsaw reboot. So we'll get to that at the end.
And this is the filmmaker trap as a career where they keep getting more money and then less control.
Yeah.
And then it'll be a Marvel movie and then his career will tank.
And they hit creative walls because now all of a sudden the studio's like, no,
gotta churn out, you get more cooks in the kitchen. And but anyway, Curry Barker is a YouTube kind of comedian, actor, filmmaker. Him and Cooper Tomlinson have a sketch comedy group called That's a Bad Idea that they make really, really funny comedy sketches online. So I've been following them for a long time. Curry Barker also makes horror short films. And a couple of years ago, it was a while ago now, he made about an hour-long film called Milk and Cereal, which is actually really good. It was like a no-budget kind of found footage horror movie, and that was really good. So I guess it's technically a feature film because it's like a bit over an hour. And this is his first kind of theatrical,
big film,
mainstream, not mainstream, but full theatrical feature film called Obsession, which he wrote and directed, and Cooper Tomlinson, his comedic creative partner, is also co-stars in the movie. And it's about
So Baron.
Yeah,
Bear.
his name's Baron, but yeah, his friends call him Bear. He has a crush on his co-worker and friend Nikki, but he doesn't have the guts to tell her. And like one night he goes into like a new agey, like magic shop kind of thing.
And finds a one-wish willow.
Yeah, he finds this item called the one-wish willow.
It's like
where
a magic stick, and if you break it, your wish will
make
come
a
true.
wish. Yeah, it'll come true. He just does it like as a goof. He's like, yeah, might as well try. So he breaks it and says, I wish Nikki would love me more than anyone else in the world. And it's a typical monkey paw situation.
Classic monkey paw.
Be careful what you wish for, because it might come true. And it does. So Nikki falls in love with him, and he's like, yay. And he didn't even have to tell her or be embarrassed. And then
how you word it is important,
exactly,
right?
and it goes farther and farther and further. And
before we begin to decipher this film, I want to say one thing. I was looking at varied opinions about, like, you know, the wish system and all this stuff, because it's fun world. There's fun world building in this one.
But I like how they don't really explain it.
Well, so I saw Curry did. I've seen two separate statements from Curry Barker. One statement said that Bear made, in his words, an effed up wish, and then, like, you know, so in that way he's the villain. You know,
he
is the villain of the entire movie.
I've seen another. He also said that Bear is not inherently bad. If he had phrased his wish better, he could have got a more positive outcome. So I'm like,
but I think just do it. Like, he also didn't know it was going to work.
That's what I was gonna say.
Part of it. Like, he didn't start as an evil character. He's not evil.
Yeah. That's what I just wanted to put. Like so.
But as the movie goes on, he gets worse, which we won't discuss because that's spoilers.
In terms of
later.
in terms of the overall discussion on the character. Suffice to say, it's kind of complicated since Curry has sympathized with both angles of the discussion.
Yeah, but I mean, that, like, you see it in the movie. Like, everyone can relate to Bear's decision, but obviously once he realizes what's happening and it goes too far, it's like then you can't really sympathize with that.
Well,
anymore.
I read this lady did a review on it that I thought was really interesting, where she talks about how one of the issues in the film is that once it gets to that point of no return, Bear's story becomes almost like trying to escape a demon, where every scene he's trying to find an exit, every scene he's trying to get away from the situation he's created, and it becomes a situation where he can't morally leave the situation alone because the for whatever reason I'm trying to dance around the
maybe we should leave this to a spoiler section later on.
There's infantilization of certain characters, which means he has a moral imperative to be there, but he's also being terrorized by it in his own way, and the only way to get out is really extreme. So he gets trapped in this own cycle, and it's a very difficult thing. Like, people, like, yes, he's the villain, but he's also trapped in his own cycle of torment because of a juvenile wish. So it's an interesting movie.
Yeah, I think, and that's part of the movie's strength, is that there is a villain, right? But there's shades of grey as well, to an extent.
Yeah.
Because obviously Bear doesn't realize the consequences of the decision he's making. He's just doing it as a goof, right?
Yeah.
You don't think the magic is going to be real.
Yeah.
So it's like, he's not, as James said, he's not an evil or bad character in the beginning, but how he deals with it
as it goes on.
Yeah.
But then, like as Callum was saying, you can still sort of sympathize at least. But I mean, there is a point where you're just like, this guy's not redeemable. But to sort of wind it back a bit, the movie is really well shot. It looks nice for a low budget movie.
Yeah, I like the filming too. It wasn't all just shallow focus.
Yeah, I assumed it would have cost like a couple, maybe even $5 million.
Some real nice directorial, cinematographically well filmed.
Yeah.
For like considering the low budget, and it's the man's first real big project.
Yeah,
I'm like
crazy.
Yeah, and it wasn't...
I could see the backgrounds in some scenes, James.
Yeah. It wasn't like overly dark like most horror movies are. There's a couple of scenes which are deliberately dark because they're trying to hide something. But it wasn't like, overly... You couldn't see like most movies that we complain about. I really liked the score. It was like kind of synthy, kind of weird. but not in like a traditional sense. More like maybe like Twin Peaksy kind of droning, like but not as whimsically weird, you know. But yeah, I really like that, and the sound design was really good, really effective.
And
Anytime something moved, it was like what's that?
And it was really well acted too.
Oh yeah, that's the next thing.
Michael Johnston does a great job as Baron Bear Bailey.
Mm-hmm.
That's too much alliteration there, Curry.
Triple B,
BBB, BB. But Indy Navarrete as Nikki, I feel like she holds the movie up on her shoulders.
This is what everyone's talking about. Indy Navarrete as Nikki is the standout, the breakout star. She does an incredible job as Nikki.
There's one specific scene in a party where she has a frown on her face.
Yeah.
And that frown,
I
she's
laugh
like,
my ass off.
I can't do it.
Yeah,
but that frown.
I saw someone comment. She has like Jim Carrey levels of like facial plasticity, and she goes from like, you know, frowning to smiling to her, and the emotions are so quick because the wish has hold of her.
Yeah.
And she's now obsessed with Bear, whereas before she was just a normal friend of his. It's like the extremes her emotions go to. In like one scene is just
that acting in that scene with like that frown.
Yeah,
I
amazing.
Pissed myself. I'm like, that is amazing.
When she does this like evil smile, it's just so creepy. And there are so many great moments of just physical
moments.
The way she moves. And I think Kari Barker did a great job of when he's like, I guess, conceptualizing the movie. I was like, she's not just an obsessed girlfriend. There is a element of possession, I guess you could say, and then there's an element
doesn't go deep into it.
Yeah,
you get like brief kind of like you get brief impressions of it.
Yeah,
but you're never really told. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we can't talk about spoiling.
We'll do a spoiler section. We'll go into it.
Yeah,
there's hints.
It does. Yeah,
there's impressions and hints, but it doesn't. It's also not really that important.
No, I think it is important, but we can't say until we go into spoilers. But yeah, I think her performance is just so incredible. Everyone's talking about it. She's going to be a big, like, I'm sure people are on the phone with her, getting a lot of, she's getting a lot of offers. But yeah, she does an incredible job, especially for a very demanding role.
It is an intense role.
Yeah.
Emotionally, physically.
Yeah. And like we said before, like she's playing like a complex character with like, heightened emotions on so many ends of the spectrum. And there's like this weird physicality, but also what Kari Barker does with her, like in the frame and like hiding in shadows and, moving in the nighttime. And it's got this really weird, really scary. I think this is the most unsettling horror movie I've seen in a while. Like we've seen some good horror movies over the last couple of years, but
that's a big call.
This is
I think I was like talking
from the beginning. I was
about
like
this with James just yesterday.
Yeah,
and I was saying him like the whole movie, I was a bit. It was like tense.
It was like uneasy.
It was uneasy. There was tension literally almost the entire running time of this movie, which is hard to balance.
Yeah, like there's obviously the edge of your seat kind of tension thriller elements of it, but yeah, just from the beginning, like throughout the whole movie, I was just unsettled. I was like, everything is unsettling, and even though there have been other horror movies that we liked, I don't think any of them have been this as effective from start to finish. And it's not a short movie
depends
either.
How many
so
years we're going back. Like
well, a couple of years. I mean,
Daddy's Head was the one. Was to me like the most tense movie I've seen for like 10 years.
I like that, but that was not anywhere near the level of obsession, especially like the escalating, sense of terror and weirdness, and just like that pit in your stomach. But yeah, there are other movies, like I said, who, like Hokum we all really enjoyed. But that had elements of like, I would have done this differently, or I would have, this part, the jump scares weren't scary, but this part at the end was scary.
But also Obsession, I wouldn't change a thing.
Exactly. Yeah. Whereas Obsession, I think from start to finish, I'm like, everything was meant to be where it is. I wouldn't move anything. I wouldn't change anything. I think everything's really effective. I think that's why it's like one of the best horror movies of the last couple of years. and maybe the best movie of this year. I can't remember what we've seen. Every new movie we've seen.
I'm going to agree with you. I don't think we've seen anything else that stands out.
Except for like some myth movies that I saw last year that I guess are now technically getting wide releases now.
The Golden Spurtle.
Yeah, there might be stuff that's coming out now that I've already seen that I'm not really considering. But yeah, most of the movies we've
Exit
seen.
8.
Yeah, that we saw last year. That's coming out this
like
year.
now, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, guess technically you could join, but I think that movie I really liked as well. I think Obsession might be better by a bit.
They're doing different things, but I think Obsession, it does everything it wants to do. It does really well.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
And
it doesn't fail.
Even Exit 8 or other movies I really liked, I would have gone.
For me, it was like better than average. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fine.
That's. I mean, everyone
has different tastes.
Yeah, I mean, it's like because the last few horror movies we've seen, like Hokum, The Mummy, Whistle, or whatever. You guys, Callum, you especially, it's like you're pretty like consistently like that was good. I enjoyed that. That was good. I enjoyed that. Like you're at like 3.5, 3.5. Whereas I'm more like extreme, where I was like The Mummy is bad.
Yeah, it's
like a 2 or something, and this on the and then Hokum is like 3.5. Like that was a good movie, and then Obsession is like. No, this is like a 4.5 movie. This is really well done. There's nothing I would really change about it. It's very effective, very, like tense. Like it made me tense up, and I was engaged the whole time.
The whole time I was just very uncomfortable.
Yeah, and
which is exactly how they want me to feel.
Yeah, and yeah, the main performance like from Indy Navarrete is so strong, and the audience reaction obviously helped. To just with the enjoyment of the movie. But I think even without that, it's just like a really well made movie.
Yeah. So we'll go to spoilers. I think.
Yeah.
After this short break, but please go and see this movie while you can at the cinemas.
See it at the cinema.
Ideally with like a full crowd. We were very lucky.
Yeah, we try and go on a Friday night or something.
I was very lucky. That's another thing. We had a pretty full cinema when we saw it, but it was a good audience. It wasn't a disruptive audience.
Yeah.
So we got lucky in that respect too.
Yeah.
So there was no popcorn throwing, nothing like that, right? But it was an audience. Pretty much everyone watching this movie was deeply engaged the whole time, which is another sense of you can see this is a great movie.
Yeah.
Because we're in an average area with an average community.
Yeah, people usually just get on their phones.
It's not a film enthusiast theater, right?
Yeah.
But everyone was locked in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
that's another.
That's what's good about it is because it's not just about a monster or a killer, because it's about like a crazy girl, quote unquote, in a relationship. It's like people like, bro, like people were like, bro, what's she doing?
Yeah,
this bitch is crazy. Like people were like yelling at each other.
And there was other people other than me saying this stuff.
but that's
like,
the good.
My comments were, she's down bad.
Yeah,
but that's the good kind of stuff I want.
Yeah, and like people are laughing, and it's also a funny movie. It's not. I wouldn't call it a horror comedy, but it's one of those
black comedies in it. It's got a lot of black comedy.
Yeah. Also, just real quickly before we go to the break, Kari Barker comes from the, I guess, recent tradition of like YouTubers becoming like horror filmmakers.
Yeah, I guess we'll see how Backrooms does.
Backrooms coming up
Hopefully
soon.
better than Shelby Oaks.
Shelby Oaks, Chris Stuckman,
Iron Lung,
Lung, but also he's also part of the sort of comedians to horror pipeline with like Zach Kreger and Jordan Peele.
Well, they're kind of related in a way, horror and comedy.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was. We've probably talked about this before. I think it was Jordan Peele who said the only difference between horror and comedy is the music. I think he said that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's like
so
that whole
timing,
thing.
I suppose.
Well, there's that whole thing about you take the laugh track off Friends, and it's a deeply
but it's like
weird
the timing
show.
of the timing of the punchline and the jump scare is like similar. It's like you set something up and then you pay it off.
Yeah.
So it's similar. But also, like, you can see that when you watch, like, Kari Barker's comedy and then his horror stuff. But also, like, this movie also doesn't really have jump scares. There's
a couple of moments.
There is a couple of, like, loud kind of... But mostly...
weird movements on screen.
But they're not... There's maybe one we'll go into.
Yeah.
That I would consider a jump scare. But other than that, it's just that slow
The
build
tension
of dread and tension.
And yeah, you're always like, your eyes always like
Yeah.
in the corner of the screen. Or, yeah, so it wasn't like, we're talking about Hokum, which we liked, but it's like
It's
the
that
first
weird-
half of that movie was like jump scare. And I
It's
was
that
like, these
kind
are
of weird
boring.
tension building uncanny valleyness to it.
Yeah.
It's that weird otherness.
Yeah.
That's not so much aimed at like the traditional supernatural Conjuring style, just jump
Yeah.
scare.
Yeah, it wasn't. It didn't
Yeah.
feel cheap like a lot of horror movies do,
Yeah.
when they're like, "Haha, we scared you."
It tried to work for the horror,
Yeah, yeah,
not
yeah.
just kind of be like, here's a quiet moment and a loud moment.
Yeah.
We'll be right back with more on Obsession after these quick messages. You are back on 98.9 Northwest FM. This is the Tuesday Review, talking Curry Barker's new Obsession.
Mm-hmm.
So spoiler warning for Obsession.
Yeah.
Big old
Go
spoiler warning.
Spoiler warning, go see it if you haven't. It's worth seeing at the cinema if you like horror movies at all. Even if you don't like horror movies.
If you like
thrillers.
relationship dramas,
if you like black comedy, dark
this is a
comedy.
good date night movie.
Yeah.
You're just meeting this new person. Go take them to see Obsession. It might
I wonder
work
how
out
many people
great.
did that. Yeah.
Maybe don't do that.
Yeah. Well, we see if they liked it, then it might be your kind of person.
Maybe.
Then
If they're
you might
mortified.
become closer. Yeah.
Actually, that's the other thing. You can judge the measure of how good a movie is by how much friend of the show Christian hates it.
Oh yeah. He hated it, and
His
that means
reaction,
it's
his
good.
reaction was like, "Why did you take me to see this?"
We didn't take him nowhere.
He always comes.
He always
with us,
comes
yeah.
along because he gets the FOMO.
He
But
was
he was on
invited.
his phone anyway. So spoiler warning for Obsession. Definitely check this out if you haven't. Please don't listen to this if you don't want to get spoiled. Spoiler warning. Spoilers. We'll put in the time code or whatever.
Yeah. So essentially,
So when
shit goes crazy when the wish is made.
Yeah,
slowly
when
catchy monkey.
Bear makes the wish that Nikki will love him, she
More than anyone else.
she becomes
More than
obs-
anyone else in the world.
Yeah, and she becomes obsessed with him. And I thought, seeing the trailer, reading the premise, you're like, okay, she goes crazy and goes a little bit too far, and she starts killing other women who
Or it's going to be like a cable guy
vie
situation.
for he kills other women who vie for his attention, or she misunderstands certain things, and it's so much more than that. And I think that's why the movie is as interesting as it is, because it could have just been, she's a crazy killer who kills all the women in his life because she's jealous. No, real Nikki is still somewhere inside.
Yeah, so essentially, she almost gets replaced.
Possessed.
I've seen her referred to as Demon Nikki.
Yeah.
Which is
Or people are
Wish
calling her
Nikki.
Freaky Nikki.
Freaky Nikki, yeah,
Demon
wish
Nikki, yeah.
Nikki, yeah. So it's like she becomes possessed by some sort of wish force, like a demonic force. But there are moments of lucidity where she's like normal Nikki, and she's like, "Where am I? What am I doing?"
Which is an interesting way to look at the mechanics of the wish, where it's like, because I guess free will still exists, you can't make Nikki love you. What you can do is implant another entity to present that. So you lock Nikki away, but then Nikki, the physical body, still loves you more than anyone else.
Yeah. That's why, I like that they don't really explain how the wish works and stuff. It's like,
I presumed. So there's sorry, James.
No,
there's a scene where when the regret starts to sink in.
Yeah.
Because what happens is when she becomes obsessed, she also becomes infantilized in a way.
Yeah.
Where she stays at home, she'll literally soil herself waiting for him to get home.
Yeah, that scene was.
There's a whole
the scene with the tape on the door.
and tape on the door. Yeah.
Great. There
There's
are
a
so
whole
many
thing where it's
great memorable moments in this movie.
Yeah, where it's
one of the
like-
reasons I really liked it.
It's like a pathological obsession.
Yeah.
But he gets regret, of course, because he assumes it's going to be great. Presumably, maybe he thought it'd last for a couple of weeks and the smell will wear off. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, he didn't know there was going to be.
and he didn't know how far it would go.
Yeah,
he
didn't
calls
know.
up. He calls up a helpline for the Wish operator.
Yeah, it's on the back of the box.
And the operator goes, "Oh, do you want to speak to her?"
That's
and then it's
also-
like hell sounds.
Yeah, that's
and I was
also
like,
a
"Oh,
really.
Nikki's in hell."
That's
or
also
something.
a really funny moment where the helpline operator, which is
And he's
voiced
so
by Curry,
disinterested.
Yeah, one is voiced by Curry Barker, and he's got a really funny voice, and he just does not care. So it's like calling up any other.
He's like Bear's like one
You're
of like probably
expecting-
like 100,000 people who
Yeah.
had like, "Oh, can I help you?" Oh
and
man,
you're expecting like a supernatural, spooky like voice, like this is what you wished for, this is what you get,
Yeah.
haha.
But it's just like a dude.
But he's just like, yeah, dude, that's how it works. Do you want to cancel the wish? He's like, no, can we just change it? And he's like, no. And he's like, whatever. But then then slowly it gets like demonic. He's like, "Do you want to talk to Nikki?" And she's like screaming. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's
so
an
there's
amazing
implications of like, yeah, she's locked away, but we don't really know. It's not really
I
explained.
think the idea that the wish kind of, we'll say the effect of the wish is also designed by intention, right? It's because of the kind of wish Bear made is it's a selfish wish, right?
And that's
also,
the thing.
I also wonder, it's like the words are one thing, but like Nathan said, the intention.
Yeah.
When he was thinking of the intention, was he just thinking, oh, I want her all to be mine? She doesn't, no eyes for anyone else.
Because it was coming from a selfish,
like a lustful,
place.
sexist place.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I want a One Wish Willow universe, but there's also technically the freedom for you to do like a comedy movie set in this universe, right? Because if it's all designed on intention, not every movie has to be horror.
Curry
You
Barker,
can have like a comedy based on a misadventure wish, you know what I mean?
Curry Barker addressed this, and he said that there's... he's not guaranteeing anything.
Yeah.
But he said it's possible you could do like a limited 10-episode series, and each would be a specific
For an
wish.
anthology, he said
Yeah.
like there's potential for a sequel, but it's like about someone else who makes a different wish.
Yeah,
which
but they don't
that would
all
be
have to be...
interesting.
Because it's potentially about intention, it doesn't all have to be horror.
Yeah.
You know, you could do something a little bit more refined, a little bit more subtle, a little bit... You could do a full-on goofy comedy.
Yeah, you could do like a really heartwarming, like family Christmas type movie. Where it's
that'd
like,
be sick.
you know, it's like
I'd be
he
really
gets his
big
wish,
fan,
but
yeah.
it's
Bring your
like
mum
not
back for
really-
Christmas one last time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, yeah. So, but yeah, like because Bear when he makes the thing with which we were kind of skirting around, we didn't want to spoil it earlier. Bear is selfish and he's a coward. He doesn't want to tell Nikki how he feels. And when he wishes that, you know, she loves him and she becomes obsessed with him, he's like, yeah, this is great, even though she's acting not like herself, and all her other friends and his friends are worried about her. And he's just like, no, this is fine. And she keeps getting more extreme. There's that bit at dinner where she's like yelling at him, and that was great. And then there's a bit, I can't remember exactly the timing, but there's a bit where he realizes like, oh, this isn't real Nikki, she's trapped, and this is, I can't fix this or whatever.
The scene where she's in bed and she's like,
I can't remember the time.
me.
There's that scene. I think this might be another time though,
That's the
because
most overt scene.
yeah. That's the bit where you're like, this guy's gone straight.
There's
evil.
a moment where she's written in the window or something, in the mirror, like it's not really me, and he sees it and he's just like rubbing that off. Like,
yeah. But yeah, the moment I'm talking about is, I can't remember. I wish I remembered. But yeah, something happens where he's like, oh, this is not her anymore. This wish has gone bad. I'm doing the wrong thing. And hard cuts to them having sex.
Yeah.
And it's basically a rape scene.
Yeah.
And you're like,
literally
this is,
is.
Literally.
Yeah.
He knows she does not have control.
Yeah.
And it's probably not what she would want.
Oh,
No,
right,
you
her
can
con-
see it in her eyes.
Yes.
her consent's completely manufactured.
Exactly.
Anyway.
And you're like, that's the moment where it's like,
But that's
oh,
just,
this
he's
guy.
probably been doing that for weeks. It's
Yeah,
like, that's
but
the
it's
one
like
time you
that
see
specific
But he
scene,
knows now.
that specific cut to like that scene where he's like, oh, this is wrong and I'm doing the wrong thing. Cut to, oh, well,
Yeah.
you know, she's here, I might as well. It's like, it's so disgusting, and you completely lose any sympathy you might have, even though you kind of understand that, like Callum was alluding to earlier about how the only way to stop the wish is to kill himself. So it's like, yeah, I can understand he doesn't want to do that.
Which
but
I'm
it's
not
like,
entirely sure if that... Using the movie's own kind of internal logic, surely he would go to his friend, buy one, and just say undo my
I was
wish.
thinking about
he does.
I was thinking about this a lot at work.
He doesn't think about that until the end of
Yeah,
the movie.
yeah.
And at that point, no one believes him.
Yeah, and I think that the issue with the wish system is that it has to be authentically your own wish. I don't think you can manufacture other wishes. I don't think the reason they all really try to break, but it's not their real wish.
Well,
so it has to be something that is something they actually desire.
well, you can
as
only have
authentic-
one wish. So he does try to
Yeah.
wish on other ones, but they don't break. So
Yeah.
you can only have
But,
one.
Like I'm wondering if he was
But
to give.
he also doesn't think to go to his friend and do that until
too
she
late.
kills the other friend Sarah.
Yeah.
And it's like it's because he's a selfish coward. And even at the end, when he's like, the only way out is to kill myself, he backs out because he's a coward the whole freaking
Yeah.
movie. And so this is what we were alluding to earlier, is like, it's interesting.
His friend wishes for $1 billion and it just rains
Yeah,
money
yeah.
down.
That's the only criticism I have. I wish they had a little bit more money to like zoom out a little bit and just have piles and piles of money, like practical effect money falling on them. That's the only thing in the movie that I wish they could have done that. But yeah, what was I saying?
When he tries to kill himself,
yeah,
he backs
he's
out.
a
Backs
coward.
out. I was leading to something else.
But we've lost it. That's fine. We'll move on.
gone.
It'll come back to you.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things with this movie, especially with the violence, where it kind of, we'll say the uncomfortableness stays the entire movie, but it gets more extreme as it goes on.
Yeah.
And even though there's not really many jump scares, there's a couple of moments, I would say, with this, we'll call it the scare factor of this movie.
Yeah.
They're mostly in nighttime. They're all in nighttime scenes. And there's a couple of moments in the bedroom at night where she's like watching him sleep.
Yeah, that scene is terrifying.
And she's just standing there. He's like, what are you doing? And she's kind of like in a weirder kind of voice. She's like, I'm just watching you sleep.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to get into bed with him. I'm like, is that real, Nikki? And she's like getting as far away and small as she can. She's like, I'm just watching you sleep.
Yeah, she's like in the corner in the shadows and you can just barely see her.
Yeah. Or is it Demon Nikki? I don't know. But
no, I think that was Demon Nikki. But it's like, and then the way there's a bit where she like moves kind of backwards. It's like really weird, like stop motion sort of almost.
Yeah.
There's bits where she's like standing in the dark, and she goes on these like long monologues about like, you know, like existential love or whatever. And it's like, there's just something wrong with her face. And it's just so weird. It's so unsettling and well made. And yeah, they could have easily gone down the path of like demon voice, CGI weirdness, but it's just all her performance and just the lighting and the movement and the framing. It's just so well done.
And I did like the scene, we were talking about the violence before. There's only one real violent scene, overly violent scene, where it's a scene where, because Bear, he's not a great character, right? He's like, I'm gonna go with this lady now.
Well, the
And
only reason he's like, because she's begging him, and
Yeah.
then he's like, fine, I'll go. But
yeah, and then he's like, oh shit, maybe I can have a normal girlfriend now. Let's try this instead.
well, that's
Like,
kind of part of the movie. It's
Yeah.
part of before all the stuff happens.
Yeah.
Is like Sarah was like in love, had a crush on him, and he
Yeah.
like I guess wasn't even aware because he was so obsessed with Nikki. So I guess that's part of.
So
his,
that comes around, and he's like, oh, maybe my escape here is if we just drive right now, she won't be able to find me,
Yeah.
right? And then obviously
then
she
it becomes
finds
like
him.
It Follows, where he
Yeah.
has to run around the world, and she's always.
Anyway, so
chasing
needless to say, you know, Nikki wouldn't let her bear just go away without knowing,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
she's obviously catches up with them, and you get the violent moment where the gore's really well done in this movie
Oh,
as she
yes.
destroys Sarah.
Like the head smashing
is really well done for a no-budget movie. It's
and
great.
it's really long.
Yeah.
Apparently they cut out like 6 seconds to get like the R rating.
Oh, I wish they didn't do
yeah,
that.
I'm like-
it would have been almost more impactful. The longer it went on, the more uncomfortable you are, because it's the only moment of violence.
It does. It's not the only moment
No,
of
but-
violence, but yeah, it's
the only, we'll say the only
on
gory,
screen.
Yeah.
I mean, there's another murder. Yeah, there's other stuff like Nikki self-mutilates as another murder,
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, it's so intense and goes on for so long. You're like, Jesus Christ. I remembered what I was going to say before. We were alluding to earlier, before we went to spoilers, about how Nikki is technically the quote-unquote villain. She's the crazy, possessed, obsessed demon. But because she is trapped in there and she's obviously been taken over and is acting against her will, she's actually the victim the whole movie. And the main character, Bear, who's, you know, the victim, quote unquote, of the attack, her affections, over affections and attacks and whatever, and who you're kind of, the movie's told from his point of view, and you kind of sympathize with him, and he's scared and you're scared for him, but he's the villain because, like we discussed, like he's a despicable coward who keeps doing the wrong thing even when he knows.
And that's another thing this movie does well. I'm not going to use the term elevated horror, but it utilizes themes of coercion, manipulation, and those kinds of things really well into an actual horror story.
And there's also the ironic element of Demon Nikki is also weirdly infantilized. So even though she's the dangerous one in quotation marks,
Yeah.
she's also she can't really look after herself as such.
That's the thing too.
They're bound together by a kind of violence. Like his violence is more of the I'm going to control you kind of violence. Her violence is more of the traditional horror threat violence.
Yeah, but
she can't really do anything on her own.
But that's what's interesting about it is like when you think about it, it's like she's not really doing anything because she's not going
until some murders.
Yeah, but before that, it's like she's not going. She's obsessed with him, and so she does things. If she displeases him, she might hurt herself or whatever.
Yeah.
But she's like never going to kill him. So it was like
No.
weirdly, it's kind of like even
Like,
though she's a threat.
To be 100% clear, again spoilers. She did murder the man's cat and like have him eat it. Like there's some other stuff going on that I'll classify as a kind of violence.
Yeah, it's not 100%, but it is, it's like the stuff, some of the scariest stuff where she's standing in the corner of the room or whatever. It's like she's not doing anything technically, even though she's threatening and it's bad, and she obviously, you're not safe around her.
But it's also one of those things where Bear should realize at this point that she is deeply unwell and he needs to try and get some help.
Yeah, I mean,
and he doesn't.
He should have done that at the beginning.
Roll, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing is it keeps escalating, and it's basically
again, that's what I was just referring to. Some of the messaging in the movie where it's kind of just like it's an unhealthy relationship. People taking advantage of other people and all those kinds of good stuff too. But the boys in the studio know I complain about a lot of elevated horror because I think it's done poorly a lot of the time.
Well, yeah, I think.
But this time I feel like it's done really well and it addresses these issues really well in the narrative and the story.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it, like we said before, it's like the whole movie from start to finish is
it's almost a fable.
Cohesive, and it's like. It's not like other movies where it's like, oh, I see the theme they're going for, but this scene why is this there? And they should have done this instead. Whereas Obsession is like the whole movie is like, oh, this is what it's about. But it's very effective and it scares. And it's also a great movie where what's going to happen. You know what's coming.
There's only one way this movie is probably going to end.
And just like scene to scene, like when they're in the car and you see Sarah in the window behind her, you're like, Nikki's coming. But you don't know how bad it's going to be when it happens. And there's so many... I like that in the movie. It's like, because a lot of horror movies is like they get in the tropes and it's like, what's going to happen. Who cares? And this movie has that where it's like, oh yeah, this is going to happen. This scene's going to end badly, but you just don't know how. Like the party scene just gets weirder, and so it's also got that cringe.
That's
element.
one of my favorite scenes in the entire movie, and she goes on that monologue again, highlighting the unwillingness and the coercion.
Yeah, it's also awkward because it's one of the first times where. Sorry, Nathan. It's one of the first times where the perversion is made apparent to everybody.
Yeah, everyone else is uncomfortable at the party too because there's obviously something weird with Nikki, and she goes on a monologue about a story with Hansel and Gretel, and there's an incestuous relationship, and it's like,
and you're like, that's inside Nikki?
That's Bear,
real Nikki.
that's Bear and Nikki, right? It's kind of like they're not really in a relationship, but it's forced. And it's just really, really well done. Everything about this movie is really well done.
Yeah. So I mean, me and Nathan.
We're glazing it.
Yeah, like, but Callum was like, it's fine.
But like I said, better than average.
Hook it to my veins.
Each to their own. Like, it was good. Like, I would recommend it to people.
Yeah.
Is it the best movie I've seen in a while? Maybe not.
I mean, this is the thing, because I can't remember all the movies we've seen this year, but just on the top of my head, it's better than The Mummy. It's better than...
Look,
28 years later, Bone Temple wasn't very good.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's not a high bar, mate. It's one of those things as well, James, where I'm like, I'm talking about a movie on how it made me feel. How did it make me feel watching it?
Yeah.
Did it accomplish its goals?
And it's
and
also...
this is like a big tick, yes.
It's also a movie that... Because a lot of movies we see where I was like, yeah, that was good. And then I'll think about it later, and I'm like, I can't remember anything that happened. I don't really care. I don't really want to watch that again. Whereas this one is like... Watching it was great, but then after I kept thinking about it, I really want to watch it again, and I want to get...
Project Hail Mary was really good.
That's probably the other best movie of the year, maybe.
No, that's fair.
Yeah, But I think even Project Hail Mary was like, oh, I wish I did this. I wish I had this longer. I think for me, Obsession was more consistent. And they're very different movies.
But I think I'm with Team James on this one, which doesn't happen all the time.
Yeah, well, sometimes sometimes we all three of us don't agree. Sometimes I agree with Callum. Sometimes you agree.
Like I
with
said,
me.
to me, Nathan said something like it. To me, it was a better than average standard horror thriller.
And look, going back to what we were talking about at the start of the show, I think there's also some people that will see the Blumhouse logo at the very start of the movie and they go, "Oh, Blumhouse slop." I hate it already.
Blumhouse?
It was Blumhouse.
Okay.
And so there are going to be some people that see that logo at the start and they say, "Oh, it's crap," or I might as well walk out now because they.
You have to. I mean, you also have to. I guess factor in other elements of like, you know, who are the other, like, I guess focus features was the other.
Like, just take a movie on its strengths.
Yeah.
Well, then that's the other thing. Yeah.
And like, you go on Letterboxd and you see people going, "Oh, just pure Blumhouse slop," and I'm like, did you even watch the movie, or do you just look up Blumhouse and then just give every movie they release 1 star?
No, that's
especially
ridiculous.
Considering the budget. It's
it's
great.
Really nice looking movie. It was like shot on locations in like North Hollywood and stuff, so it's like it feels kind of authentic, quote unquote.
Yeah, it feels it looks like a movie.
Also, what we were, you know, we started off talking about this, but you know, this is the perfect time to end off with Kari Barker's next movie, Anything But Ghosts. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's already been shot, I think. So
yeah, that sounds interesting.
Looking forward to that. I think that's more of a horror comedy.
Again, I'm worried the man's going to get budget creep, and in 5 years he'll find himself making $100 million movie, and we'll hate it, and we'll be like, "What happened, Curry?
I mean,
the studio movies."
Yeah, I mean, all we can hope is that he stays in the sort of mid-budget, or if he does get the big budget, then he, you know. But you know, the way the industry is, it's really
like, I feel like low budget filmmaker shouldn't be a dirty word. You know what I mean? Like,
but there's no like, if I made a bunch of indie movies and then someone came along and said, "Let's make $100 million, $200 million action movie," I'll be like, hell yeah.
But I'd be like, let me see how much control that I have versus the studio, though.
But it's also like, when you're a filmmaker and you also have to think, it's like, if I do this will open up so many opportunities. Like, if this movie is successful, like, if I do a Marvel movie, it might suck and I get no control. But I'll get $1 bajillion, so I don't have to work so much, so I can go off and make more passion projects. And I've got a Marvel movie on my resume, so then I can go to I can work with Disney again, I can go to different studios, whatever.
But like,
so career-wise, I understand why filmmakers do it, even though they're
But it's a double-edged sword, though, because there's also lots of aspiring, hungry, you know, filmmakers. It's dog-eat-dog world. Like, you get that one real bomb, and there might be someone ready to take your place.
Yeah, but also, like, with Kari Barker especially, like, you know, making low budget horror movies, like, just to go on YouTube and stuff, it's like, now, because of the democratization of filmmaking, which doesn't always quote unquote work the way, you know, it sounds, you know, if he did have a mega flop, you know, he could come back and do something, and that would probably be better for him. But anyway, we're getting way off into the hypothetical future. What I wanted to say is, Obsession is a really great movie, and I can't wait to see what Kari Barker does next. He's already shot his next film, which is just another low budget kind of horror movie, but it's like a horror comedy, more of a horror comedy, which I'm really looking forward to. It's also got a good cast, and, like, you know, already sort of, I mean, if this is anything to go by, it's going to be really good.
Yeah, hopefully.
Then he also...
The menacing spectre
exactly,
in the distance,
yeah.
I was somewhat alluding to.
Yeah, he also got the chance to helm the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre reboot.
I was talking to Callum about this before, and I just hope he sits down before they do anything and he rewatches the original.
Well,
this is a man... No,
that doesn't really... Look...
No. I'm saying from a perspective of, this is a man who has proven he can do tension really well. Let's keep the tension in the franchise, and let's let it be. I want it to be a little bit more than just gore.
What he's stated so far is he wants it to be brutal, in his words.
Brutal's fine. I would call the first one brutal, even though there's not that much violence.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
this we could do a whole episode just on this, but very quickly, reboots and remakes and requels and sequels and prequels and whatever. In general,
Oh no, yeah.
they're
I'm not saying
already on the back foot.
I'm
They're
not saying
already
rehash
probably
the first
mostly
one.
going to be bad.
I'm not saying rehash the first one. I'm just saying, look, there's a lot of bad sequels.
No, but just doing any movie in an already established franchise, you're already working on
You're on the back foot,
on rocky foundation. So anything he does, it's already gonna be like you're already like it is with A24, which doesn't mean a whole lot anymore, but also means it's not like a big studio trying to Disney-fy a horror franchise. So that's good. It means probably the budget will be manageable. And, considering Obsession didn't have a lot of CGI garbage, like, hopefully they ground it in that way. So I'm looking forward to it, but
Cautiously
very, very wary about it. And also, like I said, like making another movie in an established franchise is already a hard thing. But with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the first one's the only good one.
Number
and
2's pretty good.
People seem to like it, but I've always been
Chainsaw Duel. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, but even that scene's not that great. So what was I saying? Yeah, that's a franchise where it's like, what really can they do? Are they just going to retread it again? Are they going to do it? I don't know.
His amount of ideas, at least.
Yeah, I
he
mean,
seems
with
to be very creative
with the
guy.
horror comedy aspect, like they might go down the Texas Chainsaw 2 route and make it more about a crazy, wacky family of cannibals, and that might work. I don't know, but
We'll find out.
yeah, we'll see. I'm looking forward to it,
Yeah.
but wary about it. But yeah, Obsession, great movie. Check it out.
Yeah, that's about all the time we got for tonight, everyone. Thanks for joining us. You can catch us on some of the social media garbage at Tuesday Review AU, mostly on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, Newsmast, and Blue Sky. We're also on YouTube at Tuesday Review AU. Also, rate us 5 stars, leave a review, all your podcast
Yeah,
platforms.
Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen.
We're also on Letterboxd. I'm Nathan B_90.
I am channeldrifter,
No, I'm Callum Tuesday.
Alam is Alam20, but he's not here tonight.
and he never logs his movies.
And he never logs his movies. We'll just
You
get his
don't log too
password
much
and-
either, mate.
Well, no, but I do log them, but I haven't logged in the last few days. But you'll see like 10
He'll do
movies
a big
go up.
dump.
Yeah, I'll do a big dump.
That's all for tonight. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week. Adios, cousins.